Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Julia Bendis. I'm a matchmaker and dating coach. And I have with me Jay. Say hi.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. J, and I'm a relationship coach and meditation specialist.
And I think our topic today is online dating and should women correct men's behavior when they're doing dating online. And I'm sure we've all, and you probably have seen the Instagram accounts with the horrible dating stories, right, Jay?
Yes, definitely so. It's intense. What do you think about it, Jules?
Well, it's funny because I'm following this account that posts all the horrible pickup lines, that the man
Oh,
send her,
God.
and not just to her, but to other women.
Right.
And the pickup lines are horrific. I mean, some of them start out sexual immediately,
Yeah.
and others start out with some really cheesy, stupid pickup lines. And most of the women, what they do is they just get mad and they block them and they leave. And I actually ended up having a conversation with some of these women online saying, why are you all blocking them and leaving instead of educating the men? So, of course, I
Well,
got a lot of hate mail for that.
well, no, you're right. The thing is I think that a lot of people don't realize that people don't know how to talk to one another, right? And I think these guys, some of the guys that are using these pickup lines, are hoping that that kind of breaks the ice. Where some women do like pickup lines. I've never been a girl to like them, but some girls really do like them. I mean, the
Well,
cheesier the better for some people.
it is, but when it's offensive and when it's
Right.
rude and when it's extremely sexual and when they start off on the wrong foot,
Right.
I think instead of just leaving the conversation, the women should educate them a little bit and say, do you really think this is what will get my attention? Do you think this is what will get you a date with me? How about you try this instead? Let's start over. And you don't
And that has to
necessarily
be
have
a
to
woman that
follow up.
really cares. Don't you agree?
What was that?
That has to be a woman that really cares. Because
Well,
I think that
yes, but
I think some women just, I think, don't you think? And I mean, I'm not against us as a population of women, so women don't be mad at me. But don't you think that sometimes we're kind of hard on guys? Like we expect them to know how to talk to us when sometimes I think that we're hard to talk to.
we are, and I think they're very nervous, and
Yes.
that's partially why they don't know what to say. So they end up
Right.
sending these very strange text messages and cheesy lines. But at the same time, I feel like if you just tell them, listen, if you just start out with a hello, and we'll go from there, then maybe they'll know. A lot of them don't know the difference, and I know a lot of women that have corrected them, and
Right.
they actually thank them for it. So instead of just blocking them and saying, "Oh, you're a creep," or "You're this," and
Right.
just trying to get your attention, it's wrong,
I agree.
but right? So that's just
So you said you went on this site. What are some of the worst ones? Do you remember some of the worst ones?
oh, they were bad. I mean, I'm gonna pull it
Okay,
up.
okay. Well, don't give me something too bad, but give me something that would be totally a turn off for you.
Right. Well, there is let me find it. It was, I mean, they're most of them are very sexual. So
Oh, really? Okay.
that's just a little,
Well, while you're looking, I know I remember I told you because Julia and I are really close, like best friends. She's one of my best friends, so we talk all the time. And my daughter, she's pretty young, she's only 14, had a boy actually give her pickup lines, and Julia was like, "Are you kidding me?" And
that was
I'm
bad.
shocked that it starts this young. This is my first teenager, so this is the first time I've seen actually it happen, that close to home. But hers were pretty cheesy, but I'm like well thought out that these guys, I think it's definitely, I know this boy Nat was telling me is a very shy boy. So sometimes I think it's to get themselves out of this comfort zone so that they can approach you.
Yeah,
you know?
I think it's a way to get your attention and also to kind of put themselves out there and be crazy and strange and different and maybe
Right,
off wrong,
right,
most of the times. But I mean, like, for example, one of them, this guy, it was a joke, and the first message to her online was, I'm looking for a woman to take care of and support. I'll pay 10,000 a month. Are you interested? What? I mean, who does that?
oh
And
my
it's
god, that sounds like she's not. Yeah,
well,
yeah, that sounds horrible.
It was a joke. Clearly, he's like, it was a joke. I was trying to get your attention. You're so beautiful, whatever. But it's
Okay,
like,
wouldn't it have been better if he said just that?
yeah, hey,
I'm,
you're so
I mean, you're
beautiful.
so beautiful. I don't know what to say. I think a woman's kind of like, oh, that's so sweet, rather than, oh my God, what a jerk.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, that's just one of them. That, there's a lot that are just inappropriate altogether. So that's why, and that, actually, one of the blogs I wrote was about that. Do you just walk away as a woman if you're out
Right.
there dating, or do you correct them? And I mean, what is your opinion? Should they correct them? Should they just move on to somebody else?
In my opinion, I think you're right. I'm definitely an advocate for talking to people. I really think that you should always talk because communication is key in any relationship, right?
Right.
um, and nothing's perfect. So I think that definitely I think that I would go about the correcting gently because that's just how I typically operate. But I would have said, okay, is that what you got? I mean, I'm kind of sarcastic.
Right. Make it funny. And
Right. Make it funny so that make them uncomfortable. But also, I think you may be more gentle if you are physically attracted to the person too.
right.
So I wonder if that plays a part too. If it's a really, okay, so if it was Thor that said something horrific to you, would you be like, I'm blocking you? I doubt it, ladies. Doubt it. So,
Exactly. Right.
you know. So
Yeah.
what about you, Jules? What do you think? What
Well,
would you
I
do?
think also, and we talked about this before, who really teaches people how to date, right? And how to
Right.
approach people, men or women. So, if nobody helps these guys out, then they're going to be single forever and they're never going to figure out the right way to approach someone, right? It might not be your job, because I got so much hate mail after I started chatting with some of these women, and they're
Really?
still messaging me to this day, and this was like weeks ago. Why is this a woman's job to correct men's awful behavior? Why is this up to us to put them on the right path? Well, it's not. But if one of us doesn't do something about it, that's never going to end, right? This
Exactly. You have to be the bigger person, ladies, if you want the right kind of man. I think that we want these, and I do think too. Like, I know that you train your voice very well. You tell them what they should do for girls. I think there needs to be more like moms. They have to look into how they're raising these boys. And I mean, like I said, I may get joined with the hate mail, but I do think that sometimes, I'm not saying that the woman's responsible, but I think that you can save the next woman headache by intervening. How about that?
Exactly. I mean, it's got to be somebody that kind of puts them on the right path. If it's not the mothers, if it's not their sisters, if they're not their girlfriends, then who is it when you're out there doing online dating? If you're not using a matchmaker that, like myself, who, like you said, I
Right.
walk them every step of the way, and I give them feedback and I guide them before the date. Don't say this. Don't say that. I tell
Exactly.
first date, because it's kind of like a blind date. They've seen their profile before, but it is a blind date. You've never seen this, you've never met this person before. So I always exchange phone numbers ahead of time, just so they can break the ice and not have that strange, awkward, feelings in the beginning. So they
Right. Right.
have a conversation before the date, maybe the day before, break the ice a little bit. And I always tell them, you don't need to start out with strange pickup lines. You don't need to go and
Right.
make some kind of a strange little, just say, hey, how you doing? How was your day today? Tell me a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? Simple, down to earth questions, right?
And that's the thing. I think that that's where you and I come into play for some of these people that do have issues. So you guys look us up, because there are people that can help you, guide you, and coach you so that you know how to approach people. Julia is a great matchmaker and coach. Myself, I focus on communication, how you speak with other people, what are your patterns that we need to break, and also some of the things that are psychologically blocking you, so that you can get to the point where you can understand where you can go the right way to meet the right person for you. No one's perfect, but you can find somebody that's right for you,
Right.
and, and like you're saying, I think that a good, as a woman, in seeing this kind of behavior and having, if a guy, I mean, I've had people give me pickup lines that I'm like, that was so goofy, but tell these guys, like, let them know. I'm like, does this work? Like, I really want to know, does it
Right.
work?
Has this ever worked for anyone? Or is this
Right.
the first
For
time
some guys are like, yeah, it does. And I'm like, okay, like, there's like, so like I said, there's somebody for everybody.
Of course.
Then guys that tell me that no, it hasn't worked. I'm like, so why do you keep doing it? Like,
Right.
what? You know, like what's, you know, it's for some of them, it's for a reaction. Some of them, they just want that communication between a woman, right?
Right. Yeah. It's
So
so
it's
true.
just, it's interesting. I've never gotten the pickup lines. I think some of them are funny, but yeah,
Most of them
not all
end up
about being
being
funny.
inappropriate, you know,
Yeah,
and
those were pretty intense. Yeah.
that you know, there's a time and a place for that, obviously. But that brings me to my next question: is what do you do, because you do a lot more deeper, more intense coaching and guidance, and it's almost therapy in a way than what I do, because I prefer to focus on the matchmaking, and the coaching kind of comes along with it in terms of feedback and guiding them before the date. But with you, how do you work with someone, and what do you tell someone who may have social anxiety, and you know, whether they have Asperger's or certain you know, it just things are holding them back from being able to socially interact, especially with another sex. So what is the first thing you tell them? You know, how do you get them to relax a little bit and be themselves, but also not be socially awkward?
Right. I think first off, I think that a consultation is definitely necessary, just like yourself, because I need to get to know the person, and I have them fill out an assessment, as well as kind of figure out where they feel that their blocks are. Because I want to know from your point of view where you think your blocks are, and then kind of work from there. Sometimes we see ourselves differently than other people see us, right? So the first step for me would to kind of get to know you, have a conversation with you, and then work on a bio-individualized plan for you to move forward so that we can break these obstacles. You mentioned Asperger's. I mean, there's different forms, there's different
Right.
things that can be blocking people. And I feel that we all have a basic human makeup, but our personalities are all different. So it doesn't necessarily block you from meeting somebody because you have any condition. It just needs to be refocused in how you approach people. So I guess my first step would be a consultation to see these people and see what they're needing.
Right. Yeah, that's true. And that's the same goes for people that are highly sensitive, super analytical, and they
Correct.
super analyze everything, you know, whether it's the
Right.
first date, the first conversation. Oh my God, did I say the right thing? Did I message the right thing?
Right.
Did I just scare him off or her off? And then
Right.
until they get that message back, which, you know, people could just be busy. And, you know,
Exactly.
you and I are really good about replying to messages and emails
Definitely.
right away,
Right. We
but
know each other. We're similar.
but other people are not like that. Sometimes they
Right.
can see that little red little 1, 2, 3, you know, notification thing and let it be there.
Right.
But
No.
they overanalyze and overthink everything, and then they start to freak out, you know. And I know I've done that as well, you know, with
Yeah, I think none of us are, you know, I think we all have emotions, right? And I think that there's triggers for everybody. For myself, I've learned that, like yourself, right? Not everybody's like us. You know, I get a text message and I try to rush and write back, you know, but I will have to say that sometimes you prioritize people, right? You know, you're like, I mean, I have some people that are like family and yourself that I like prioritize. So I'm like, okay, you know, like I get to them faster just because you and I do stuff together and we're very close. And then, you know, with work things, I try to give a 24-hour turnaround, right?
right.
So
But
also
in
with my
dating,
clients,
you know,
yeah, with dating,
waiting,
you got to be careful because you don't want to scare the people.
right.
Um, and I think that, I mean, I've had people come to me actually in our practice that were telling me like, well, he didn't write me back within the hour after our date. And, you know, he doesn't want me. And I'm like, well, you know, okay, let's think about this.
He's
He had a
busy.
date. You said it was great. If he doesn't like you, he doesn't like you. It's okay. You were okay before him. You're going to be okay without him. You know what I mean? And you have to get to the point where everybody works differently. And if you sweat the small stuff too much, you're going to go crazy.
Well,
That's my
that's the thing, the obsessing, you know, those people
yes.
overanalyze everything. And, you know, just like my female clients who it's typically the women, sometimes I have the men that do the same thing, but, you know, did he reply? Did he say yes? Does he want to see me? You know, when I exchange profiles, and a lot of times they just don't get back to me right away. I can't be on them. You know,
Yeah.
what did you think of her? Do you want to see her? Do you want to not? You know, what do you think?
Right.
I don't want to sound desperate for them, but yeah, in the meantime, they're emailing me, texting me, calling me. What did he say? Why didn't he like me? Well, I haven't heard anything yet. He's at work, he's traveling, it's whatever.
Right.
So, I always try to tell people, you need to get busy, do other things, go see your friends, keep yourself busy so you're not thinking, if you know the kind of person you are, right? And it's not, have nothing to do with you at all. He just got caught up. And I've talked about these things before, that I do feel that women are better multitaskers than men. And men don't like to hear that, but it's true.
It just depends. I mean, I will agree with you. I find that women are definitely, we do more at once. How about this? I think that we can do more at once actively listening. I think that men can do things more than once, but it may not be complete concentration on things that they're doing. For example, I'll use my husband. I can have him he'll be helping me cook, and he'll be doing this, and I'll tell him about something that I want to do next weekend, and he totally was acting like he understood. And I'm like, did you hear that? And he's like, huh? And you know what I mean? Where I will remember everything and keep going. Right. So I agree with you. Yeah.
I think it depends on the person, like you said, obviously, but I think, at least that's what I try to tell my girls, is that you have to understand that not everyone, that's not their first priority. So they're at their job, they're overwhelmed, they're thinking about their project, and they'll get back to me when they can. But obviously it's hard, and that's where a lot of times I turn to experts to help me to let down the people. That's the hardest part of my job, is how do you let them down? When someone, whether they went out on a date or they didn't, how do you let someone know they don't want to move forward, they don't want to see you again, or they don't want to see you at all? And I think people need to understand that it's not personal. It could just not your type, distance, whatever it is. And it's interesting that it's usually just the women that want to know why. The men are like, oh, okay, she didn't want to see me next.
Oh, really? Okay.
Typically, but the women, why? What happened? What was it? I want to know specifically. Was it my hair?
So we can be very emotional. Women can be very emotional, and it's not a bad thing. I think showing emotion is beautiful. But I think that, like you said, it's not personal. And I think that in our practice, we find the same thing. We have people women tend to be a little more emotional. I think there have been some men that sometimes exhibit those traits as well, but I think I agree with you. I think that it's more so the women, because we do want to understand why somebody, it's like that feeling of rejection. We don't like that rejecting feeling.
Right. And we want to know why, because we're always wanting to change things, right? We always want to fix it and figure out why it's happening and what's happening. So, but I think that's a great topic to keep talking about. I think a lot of people misinterpret things for the wrong reasons, and I see relationships ending before they even begin because of miscommunication. Right.
Definitely, communication is very important.
Right.
What did you were saying that you found the hardest thing for you was to tell people, do you find that there's a lot of men that initially like the profile, and after they meet the people that it's the communication that throws it off? Or because if there's that initial attraction, seeing the picture, that shows that it's a little deeper than just physical attraction.
Right. Well, and that's the hardest part for me, is because, they said yes to this person, right? And it's usually the men that end up changing their mind after meeting the woman. And a lot of times I don't show the picture when they don't have great pictures, or they're old pictures, or I just feel like it doesn't represent them correctly. Okay. So I don't show them. But when I do, and they know what the person looks like, and I agree to meet with them, and then something happens on the date, and it's usually physical. It's not what they talked about. And every single response I have, every single feedback is, I had a great day. Thank you for introducing me to her. I absolutely loved meeting her, but I just didn't feel that attraction. And that's when I always tell them, if you liked them as a person and you had great conversations, you're going to go see them again. And there's only been a couple of cases where they fought me on it, and they refused to go out with them again when they're on the fence. Because sometimes, I've had couples that they just didn't know what to feel. They liked the person, but they didn't feel that spark, that magic spark.
I sometimes think that spark, I definitely think that you need a spark. Don't get me wrong. I think, there's nothing about physical attraction and feeling that zing. But I also think that sometimes we see all these movies and shows and people have this unrealistic view of what you're supposed to have when you first meet somebody.
Right, exactly. And I think that's the whole point, is that, this is real life. This isn't a
Right.
Disney movie, right? Oh, my prince on a white horse, or, whatever, knight in shining armor.
On a black stallion, what are you talking about?
Well, for me, it would be a hot black man on a white horse or whatever. But that's not real life. That does not happen, right?
Right, you have your white stallion on a black horse, okay?
Right. That just my husband didn't ride in on a beautiful horse, and it was, no, not at all. We had a horrible date, awful. I mean, you know the story. But I gave him another chance because I liked him as a person.
You know what's funny? Oh, keep going. No, keep going. I'm sorry, but you made me think of something.
It was a horrible date, but I liked him as a person. I liked our conversations, but he just kept messing up. He kept doing the wrong things because he was super nervous, and he was late to pick me up, forgot to open it.
He was late. Oh, not with you.
Yeah, no. But overall, if you like the person, that sometimes takes time, the attraction, and they kind of grow on you, so to speak. So,
Well, it's funny because I have to think. I wonder if that's something we should explore that too on one of our shows. That because when I met Rob, my initial was very annoyed with him because he was talking behind me very loud, speaking German. And I was so annoyed. I'm like, why is this guy talking? And I was in line at Starbucks, and I was in a bad mood because I just went through a breakup, and he was talking loud behind me. And so I wonder if that has something to do with long-lasting relationships. You're first annoyed with the person, and later on you're like, oh.
Hey, my grandma used to say that, the worse you first date. I mean, she said it in Russian, so it's a little different, but...
Oh, I want to hear it. I'm supposed to have a Russian lesson.
The worse your first date or a couple dates or whatever the situation is, and you can get past it, that actually shows the strength of your relationship. If you see beyond that, right? If you can see beyond what's happening or how they're nervous and they keep messing up, if you can see beyond that, the mess ups into the person's heart, and if you truly think that they're a good human being, you should definitely give them another chance. So I always encourage people, like I said, I've only had maybe a couple people that were adamantly fighting me on it. No, I'm not going out with her again.
So they really just didn't like them.
Yeah, they missed out. So
yeah, I agree. I mean, I do think, like, I know your motto is that people shouldn't just look at the outside, and I agree with you. I think it's a mix of the two, because I know that there's been plenty of people that can be really good looking to me. I think beauty's in the eye of the beholder, definitely. What's a Monet to me may be a dog with poo to you, right?
Right. Exactly. We all have
That's a beautiful way of putting it. Isn't that so eloquent? But no, it's just the truth, So I think that, it to each his own. And sometimes you have to look a little bit beyond, because I think no one's perfect, and we got to stop getting in this realization that everything has to be perfect. I see so many women that come to me, and men, especially men, that'll say, oh, well, she's smart, she's this, but she's a little chunky, or, and I'm like,
weight,
you can lose weight, buddy. No, I'm just kidding. But no, you can lose weight. You know what I mean? And the funny thing is, these guys may not even be the best physical shape, which is just so interesting to me that they are so picky. But I think it's like we have to get out of this mode that, okay, I need a Victoria's Secret model in order for me to be happy.
Right. And it's funny you say that. I've actually had male clients come to me, and they give me pictures of Victoria's Secret models who they knew they were single. And I'm thinking, you want someone that looks like her, right? No, I want her in this picture. I'm thinking, yeah, buddy, she has a choice of many, many, many men. You have no chance, But no, they were very serious.
What do you tell them that you have no chance?
No, I mean, come on. A Victoria's Secret model, any models, they're in public eye. They have these billionaires after them. Do they really want a regular old millionaire maybe. No, they want somebody famous. They want somebody with power.
They may, but that shows that these people that even that we're coming across that we're talking about, you know, there's been women that I have that are friends that marry guys that aren't the hottest, and it's not necessarily because of money, but it's because they have this emotional connection. So what you're describing, I think, is that a person that's just going by physical. He knows nothing about this woman except physically she is appetizing to him, or
And,
appetizing, appealing.
and it's both.
Maybe I'm hungry, a little hungry. So,
but it's both. It is, you know?
right?
And it's so superficial. It is so superficial. And I always say, look, you know, if you want a trophy wife, I'm not the matchmaker to go to. There's plenty others that will bring you on a silver platter a trophy wife. I'm not it. I don't do trophy wife, husband, whatever, right? So
you don't know where. Okay, so if I was ever single, I can't come to you, Jules. Just
oh well,
no, I'm just kidding, guys, I totally go here if I were single.
You've got a good thing going. You got a good thing.
I do. I'm blessed. We both are.
Yeah, and 4 babies. Stay where you are.
I know, right?
But it's true. But anyway, we could talk about this all day, and I think we should definitely keep talking about this. It's, you know, there's so much that I come across daily with my clients, as you do as well, that, you know, I think people need to talk about more. People need to hear about how to, not just how to present themselves, but how to behave while they're dating. You know, so it's a different world. This isn't, you know, how it was 20, 30 years ago. You know, when I first was doing this, there was no internet. So everything, it was in-person interaction. Now, everything is online. So unless you're hiring a matchmaker, unless you're working with someone like myself, it's really hard to present yourself just by a picture and a message. And you have to put your best foot forward. You're not going to get a second chance. Just like these women online that were arguing with me, they blocked them and they moved on and they're done. So this guy's never going to get a chance.
That's sad, yeah. And that's true. And I think that's sad because that guy could actually be a nice person, but nobody's getting to know him because of the stupid first impression. That shows that first impressions are lasting.
Yes, and it's everything, especially where we live in Orange County.
So.
It's everything, whether it's in person or on the internet. And you know, I always say, have the best pictures that you can, nothing inappropriate. And that's another thing, you know, that men come to me and they send me these pictures that are, you know, half naked in a bathroom stall that they just took a selfie of, and they think it's okay to send it to me. I can only imagine what they send to women online.
Oh no.
And that's not okay. That's
not okay.
That's not okay to send to me or to them. I don't want to see your white pasty chest with a dragon tattoo. I don't think anyone does.
You know? Unless they're a dragon enthusiast. Maybe somebody that's really into Game of Thrones will dig that.
Really? It's like Harry Potter stuff, you know? If you write to me on my sign-up form that your hobbies are Harry Potter, I don't know, cards, games, whatever it is, or, you know, these Pokemon things, or, you know, you got to start getting some new hobbies, because most women of a certain age, you know, anyone over the age of 25,
right,
I don't think they're going to be very attracted to that, you know? So I'm happy to help, but I can't guarantee anything with that, you know? So
right. I mean, my whole thing is I know that there's someone for everyone. I really believe that there's someone for everyone, because I've seen people where I'm like, oh, wow, they got together. I totally see it, you know?
Right.
I tell somebody like that the other day, and my mom's like, wow. I'm like, yes, but they look good together. And I really believe that it's about, there's somebody for everyone. So, I mean, if you dig Harry Potter, maybe there's a girl like that for you, but I don't think she's going to be the Victoria's Secret model. I really doubt. You know what I mean? So you got to, you know.
Although you never know, there might be on the side, but I highly doubt it, you know?
Right.
And yeah, so anyway, we'll continue talking about this, and thank you for listening and joining today, and we'll continue on conversation.
Yes, bye you guys. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.